There you go, thank you. Would you like another opportunity?
No, I'm fine.
No, you're fine. Okay, so you're just going to be an absolute idiot about it.
I'm not doing that.
Well, I mean, you
he's
are.
got other jobs and that, and you know, we have to rely
Yes,
on
but
that.
you have a collar number for the specific reason, as we've just heard us discuss, for accountability reasons. You're making a very large assumption I have the ability to read that my eyesight is good enough to read that.
These two officers have identified, and if you do
Yep.
need my details, they can be.
Okay, that's
when you
still,
make your complaint,
again, that's not
fine.
your policy,
Okay,
so that's fine. I'll make a complaint to your
Okay,
chief
not a problem
constable,
at
that's
all.
not a problem.
Not a problem
Actually, I'll
at all.
probably go straight through the IOPC, because otherwise it goes to your local PSD and gets kicked down and disregarded.
That's not a problem
Yeah,
at all. If you
no
just do
worries.
that, that's absolutely
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a closer look at a piece of footage from the YouTube channel Power to the Proletariat, a platform known for documenting how public officials, especially police officers, respond when their actions are observed and recorded by everyday citizens. The clip we're reviewing captures a classic citizen audit, beginning with an independent auditor calmly and lawfully filming the exterior of what appears to be a police station's vehicle area. Everything is peaceful until several officers approach him, and from that point forward the interaction becomes both revealing and, at times, noticeably frustrating. The exchange highlights a sharp contrast between professional, rights-respecting policing and the kind of reactive behavior that creates unnecessary tension. This moment serves as a powerful reminder of why public accountability matters, how quickly trust can be built or broken, and why citizen audits continue to play an important role in modern discussions about transparency and law enforcement conduct.
Hey mate, you alright?
Not bad, how are you?
How's it going? What are you up to?
Just, as you see, just taking some pictures out of your cars and out there.
Oh, okay.
That's all. And you are, sorry?
Police officer.
And your collar number?
Are you an auditor, or are you?
And your collar number, please?
I have to give you my collar number. It's my identification just on my shoulder there.
And then if I can't read, it's not your policy to identify for members of the public?
I don't need to.
No, it's not identified, no.
Okay. Are you here to just cause issues, or are you here to just have a
No,
chat?
I'm just here to take pictures and that's all. As I said, I've just noticed as I was walking down to take pictures, your colleague's window was open, I could see the screen, made them aware of it.
Okay, have they sorted that?
Yeah, they closed the window,
Okay.
fine. Yeah, it's so simple as that.
Cool. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sure we're not here to cause you a problem. I'm sure you're not here to cause a problem. We're just,
You know, your colleagues not in uniform refuse to identify while engaging in a policing activity. Not fantastic, is it? It's against policy, you are required to identify. You're engaging in a stop and account, you are required to identify. Because if I have any complaints, how am I supposed to make that complaint if you haven't kept yourself to the accountability standards that the force requires? So, you know, again, you refuse to identify properly because, again, you don't know that I can read, so you're refusing to identify properly. Yes, you're in uniform, but again, if I want to make a complaint against you,
you can give the time and date and where the location where you are. My body cam's recording, so
is it?
it can all be.
How come it's taking you this long?
Encounter starts with what should have been a routine, straightforward question, but it quickly turns into a revealing test of police transparency. As the auditor continues recording, well within his legal rights, he immediately asks the approaching officer for his collar number, a simple request meant to confirm identity. Instead of stating it aloud, the officer merely gestures toward his shoulder, sidestepping the clear identification required by policy and creating an unnecessary barrier for anyone who may rely on verbal confirmation. The civilian calls this out, and also notes that the officer failed to announce that his body-worn camera was recording from the moment contact was made, another basic requirement designed to protect both the public and the officer. Although the officer's initial decision to engage might be understandable, his defensive tone and unwillingness to follow standard identification procedures raise legitimate concerns. Moments like this show how quickly an interaction can fall below professional expectations when transparency is treated as optional rather than essential.
We know that your body cam's recording.
Talking.
And is it the policy not to, at the first most practical opportunity to allow
that? Was the most practical time to inform
was it?
you.
So because you come in and gone hands-on with me?
I haven't gone hands on.
Exactly. So why is not the first thing that you say, good afternoon or morning?
What you're doing, because that's the first question I asked you, and then we've had a conversation, and now I've told you.
Yeah. But the first most practical opportunity is to say, good. By the way, you are being recorded.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could be covertly recording me under the Regulations of Investigatory Powers Act, couldn't you?
But that's not happening, so don't worry about that.
It could, because it took you X amount of time to alert me when there was plenty. The only situation where it's not practicable at the first opportunity is if you're going into a hands-on situation. Any other time, there's no reason, and this has been dealt with in the tribunal by the tribunal that deals with the REAPER Act, that the first most practical opportunity is when you approach somebody. If you have your camera on or you turn it on, if you approach with your camera on, you should alert them when you approach, unless you're going hands-on. If you turn it on whilst engaging in a conversation, you should turn it on, and then once it's recording, so it's stated on the camera, by the way, you are being recorded for my safety and your safety, blah, blah, blah. You have the right to do it, same way that I have the right to do it. It's not a problem. It's the notification that's the problem.
Okay.
You know?
But I've notified you at a time that I think is practical, so I've done that, so it's fine.
Okay, you can justify that to a tribunal. It's fine, no worries.
So what are you
So you're going to try to identify yourself properly yet?
No, I'm happy.
You're happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to identify yourself, or would you like a complaint as well, sir?
So can I ask you a question? Before my colleague steps in, just can I? So my name is PC2376.
Thank you. So that's how it's done. Thank you.
What unfolds next highlights a sharp divide between unprofessional behavior and exemplary policing. The first officer continues to push back, insisting, incorrectly, that he activated and announced his body-worn camera at an appropriate moment, even though the footage and the auditor's clear timeline contradict his claim. But the tone of the encounter shifts the moment a female officer arrives. When the auditor asks for her identification, she responds instantly, stating both her name and collar number with confidence and clarity. That simple act of transparency immediately lowers the tension, prompting the civilian to thank her for doing what policy already requires. Her approach serves as a model of proper conduct, showing how easy it is for officers to build trust by respecting procedures. In contrast, the first officer's reluctance only fueled unnecessary conflict and suspicion, proving how critical professionalism is in even the most routine interactions.
My colleague here was obviously made aware that the window was open.
Yeah.
And he's got concerns because of data protection and that you might have recorded something on your phone from the screens.
If there is anything, I'm not sure if there is or not. If anything is captured on there, that will be evidence for me to report that to the Information Commissioner's office, because obviously the onus of data protection is on the organisation, not on whoever sees that
You don't
information.
expect someone to stick their head through the window.
I didn't stick my head through it. I didn't stick my head through a window. I saw it from a public
because
place.
somebody else's information, this is a secure site. Well,
I understand that.
it's not as secure as we'd like.
Well, no,
it to
exactly.
be.
It's not secure at all, is it? Really?
No. We are trying to work on that, but unfortunately, you have to do with what you've got to that.
Yeah. Even a bit of signage saying no unauthorised access beyond this point would go a long way, because I do respect signs like that.
No,
you know.
okay. I will take
But I did have a look around, and there is
I will
nothing
genuinely
there.
take that to the senior leadership team, because
Fantastic.
I think that is fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are trying to redo everything. Yeah,
Okay.
Financially, we have to wait until the
That's
budget.
right, it's quite a
and
small
everything,
town,
and
isn't it?
it's
Lower
exactly,
priority.
you know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
get it. Yeah.
We get shoved right to the bottom type
Yeah.
of thing. We're right on the borders,
Yeah.
between different forces and that. So it is totally. I understand where you're coming from, and I'll pass it on to the senior leadership.
Thank
team.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've just got concerns about the data protection that's on that video. Do you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Because that's somebody else's private stuff and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we obviously learn from things like that. So you've pointed it out. They've closed the window. It is
Fantastic.
really hot in there. We've got no air
Again,
conditioning.
I completely understand that,
You know
but
what I
obviously
mean?
data protection takes priority over that, unfortunately.
The discussion then turns to the issue that sparked the officer's initial concern, a possible data exposure from a police computer screen visible through an open window. The female officer addresses this topic in a calm and constructive manner, opening the door for a productive exchange rather than a defensive one. The auditor explains, accurately, that safeguarding sensitive information is the responsibility of the police, and that if any protected details had been captured on video, it could warrant a report to the Information Commissioner's office. His explanation reflects a solid understanding of data protection requirements and why physical security matters just as much as digital safeguards. When he suggests that a simple, no unauthorized access sign or similar precaution could prevent future issues, the officer acknowledges the value of the recommendation and assures him she will relay it to her supervisors. This moment stands out as an example of genuine community-oriented policing, listening to public concerns, treating them with respect, and using feedback to strengthen both security and trust.
You can get a fan in there, and I understand, I've worked in many various
That's what I'm
locations
more
where health and
concerned
safety
about,
data protection
what's
takes
being
priority
recorded.
over
Does
that.
that go live? Is that a live?
I'm not live streaming, no.
If there is something, would you delete that?
Not necessarily delete it, but I would make it anonymous. I would blur it out if there is anything, if I were to post it anywhere.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
it's not their fault, you know what I mean?
No, of course. I've raised the issue of
Exactly.
I've raised the issue of data protection, and obviously I
Absolutely.
raised it as an issue because I do see it as an issue.
No,
I'm
no,
not going to go share that information. That would be very hypocritical of me,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
if there is anything captured on the camera, it won't be made available to the public. It will be forwarded to the ICO.
That's fine, yeah. Can I
part of evidence.
take your details?
No,
can
I'm
I,
okay,
can I
thank
take
you.
your name,
No, I'm
please?
alright,
Just
thank you.
first name so I know who I'm speaking to?
No, I'm alright, thank you.
So you've got my collar number, but I can't take yours?
Yeah, but as a Crown servant, obviously you have issues of accountability when dealing with members of the public, and
And
that's
I'm just
why.
being
And that's why.
polite
Yeah, I
asking
know.
your first name.
I
I
know.
don't even know anything
I know.
else,
But then
so I
obviously
know who I-
that coupled with my image, which obviously he's notified me he's recording,
Yeah, obviously we do that because I'm open and honest. You know what I mean? We record things so that you can see what we do. And we can
absolutely.
see,
I completely
I mean?
agree
so,
with the use of body cameras. Completely.
That's the thing is that I can't hide saying, "Oh no, I didn't say this to this man," or "This man didn't say anything."
No, exactly. Exactly the same reason why I record any interaction I have with you as well.
Yeah, that's why we record everything. I have to protect my back. With the amount of people have said we do things.
Of course,
we don't. You know
but with your collar number and that, obviously, you're bound. You have to identify. You did it correctly verbally because you can't guarantee that I can read.
What I mean?
But you have to wear that for accountability reasons. That's why I'm entitled to have that, because you're dealing with a member of the public in a stop and account situation. Accountability, you have to identify yourself.
As the conversation winds down, the auditor is asked to provide his personal details, something he is under no legal obligation to do in this context. He declines politely, and to their credit, the officers accept his decision without pushing the issue or attempting to overstep their authority. They also ask whether he intends to delete any footage that might contain sensitive information, and he explains that he would simply blur anything confidential before publishing, which is a responsible and measured response. What stands out most in this closing exchange is how dramatically professionalism shapes the outcome. The female officer's calm communication and willingness to follow procedure turned a tense encounter into a productive dialogue, demonstrating how respect and clarity can resolve concerns before they escalate. In contrast, the hesitancy and defensiveness shown earlier by her colleagues exposed gaps in transparency that only weaken public trust. This entire interaction reinforces a crucial truth: accountability is not a barrier to effective policing, it's a fundamental part of it.
For that exact reason, which he doesn't seem to understand. And sorry, we got interrupted. Would you like the opportunity to identify?
4988 PC Biffin.
Sorry,
PC Biffin.
And your collar number, please?
4988.
4988. There you go. Thank you. Would you like another opportunity?
No, I'm fine.
No, you're fine. Okay, so you're just going to be an absolute idiot about it.
I'm not doing that.
Well, I mean, you
He's
are.
got other jobs and that, and you know we have to rely
Yes,
on
but
that.
you have a collar number for the specific reason, as we've just heard us discuss, for accountability reasons. You're making a very large assumption that I have the ability to read that my eyesight is good enough to read that.
These two officers are identified, and if you do need my details, they can be.
Okay, that's still again, that's not your policy,
Okay,
so that's fine. I'll make a complaint to your
Okay,
chief
not a
constable.
problem
That's
at all.
not a problem.
Not a problem
Actually, I'll
at all.
probably go straight through the IOPC because otherwise it goes to your local PSD and gets kicked down and disregarded.
That's not a problem
Yeah,
at all. If you
no
just do
worries.
that, that's absolutely
Okay,
fine.
nice picture of your face as well, so I can just make sure that goes to the right person.
Yeah, no problem.
Is there anything else we can help you with today, sir?
No, as I said, obviously, I've made the issue of that window and I've made that aware.
Which I'm literally going to go speak to my inspector.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. Obviously, if I were to say to come back in half an hour and I walk back and that window's open again, you're now willfully and negligently disregarding data protection, and that's fantastic. So, I've been to places where they close it because I'm there, and then I come back at like 10, 15 minutes, half hour late, and they just reopened it because they think I've gone. And that's not the point of what I'm trying to raise.
Before leaving, the auditor gives the first officer one last opportunity to identify himself properly, but the officer once again declines to provide his details aloud. This is more than a minor oversight, it's a direct failure to meet a basic requirement of policing. Identification is not something officers can delegate or rely on colleagues to cover. Each officer is individually accountable to the public, and compliance from others does not excuse one officer's refusal. By ignoring this duty, he effectively shifts the encounter from a routine clarification into a moment where he is actively resisting his own accountability. What's unfortunate is that his conduct overshadows the professionalism displayed by the female officer. Her clear, respectful communication could have set a positive tone for the entire interaction, but his stubbornness pulls attention away from constructive policing and refocuses it on unnecessary obstruction. It's a stark reminder that one officer's refusal to follow policy can undermine the credibility of the entire team.
People on the site,
They
are trying to get gates and all of that, but it's planning permission and all of that. So, unfortunately, we have to work with what we have. We just hope people, members of the public, would be, understanding of that.
Like I said, just to do police cars and that, it's a local force just trying to come and have a look around really and see where the local money's going.
Yeah.
And,
definitely not, mate.
Definitely not here, apparently. Well, thank you you've been very lovely and professional. I appreciate that. So you've told me you're recording. Have you been recording?
I am recording it.
You are recording. So again, same issue that I raised with him. Is there a reason you haven't notified me of that? Is there?
Because it's not necessary. They're all three of them.
No. You told me that you're recording. You didn't say we're all recording you. You told me that you're recording. That's your responsibility. It's his responsibility to let me know that he's recording me.
It's not necessary.
It is necessary. Would you like to refer to the College of Policing guidance? Because
No, we're fine. Thank you.
no, you're fine, exactly.
I'm
Because
absolutely
you're
fine.
not interested in
Yeah.
you're not interested in actually learning what your policies are and adhering to them, are you?
No,
You're
I'm
just one of those
just- I'm
tyrants that just wants
No,
to go
I'm
around
just
and do what
telling
you
you.
want to do, ignore your
No,
policies.
not a problem. I've just
No, that's
told you
fine.
that
That's
we're
fine.
recording.
I'm not interested in talking to you. I'd rather talk to your colleagues. You're
Okay,
just
that's
a bit of a
absolutely fine.
tyrant, and I have no interest in talking to you.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's unfortunate.
If you're not,
I've been
if
quite
you're,
polite to you and tried to tell.
At this stage, the auditor's frustration becomes unmistakable, and he calls the officer a tyrant for repeatedly ignoring a basic identification requirement. Although the wording is strong, it echoes the public's broader reaction when officers appear to hide behind vague answers instead of embracing transparency. What follows is even more troubling. The officer responds with a remark that, regardless of his intent, comes across as unnecessarily intimidating and easily interpreted as a subtle attempt to discourage further scrutiny. Rather than calming the situation, his tone and choice of words add pressure and escalate the tension, contradicting the fundamental policing principle of de-escalation. In doing so, he inadvertently reinforces the auditor's claims of unprofessional behavior, turning a preventable misunderstanding into a moment that undermines trust and highlights why accountability remains so essential.
Conversation with you. If you disagree, that's absolutely fine.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're not going to follow your policies on your guidance and you have no interest in learning them, because I can refer you to the guidance in which it tells you about your body-worn cameras, in which it tells you about identifying yourself. But again, you have no interest in it. So what's the point in talking to you any further?
Thank you.
But yeah, again, thank you. You've been very professional. Straight away identified yourself, told me that you're recording a little bit later than I would have liked, but
Sorry, yeah, I was late, my colleague spoke to me.
yeah,
on that side,
exactly.
so he was
Yeah,
telling me
you
about
weren't the one
windows,
directly
so-
engaging with me. I was talking to him, so I understand
Yeah.
that. But he had every opportunity.
That's fine. Like I said,
you know.
I'm going to go back and speak to my inspector about
Yeah, yeah.
authorised personnel signs.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if we can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I
Again,
said,
not everybody's going to
no,
respect those
no.
signs, but at least then you've got the footing of you've been notified
I mean,
of trespassing before you've entered
We
the
are
site.
police
You
station.
know.
We want the public to be able to come and ask us for help. That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
We're here
yeah.
to help them
Yeah, yeah.
in their times of stress and
Yeah, yeah.
everything like that. We don't want to be unwelcoming.
No, of course. Like I said to
We
your colleagues
also-
when they first came out
Yeah.
with non-uniform, you've got a sign on that door which is clearly for public information that says, you know,
Don't-
if the office is closed,
yeah.
call 101. That's obviously for public information.
Yeah.
If
The officer provides no apology, no clarification, and no effort to correct his behavior, solidifying the impression of defensiveness and hostility. Recognizing that the exchange has reached a point where it can no longer move in a constructive direction, the female officer steps in once again and respectfully guides the conversation toward an end. Her intervention is measured, professional, and clearly aimed at preventing the situation from deteriorating further. Yet, despite her efforts, the damage left by her colleague's attitude is already evident. His refusal to follow basic policy and his confrontational tone have created an atmosphere where the citizen feels uneasy rather than safeguarded. This shift, from safety to intimidation, represents a fundamental breach of the police's duty to protect the public, and it underscores how a single officer's behavior can rapidly erode trust that should take precedence in every interaction.
out there, it's almost an expectation that the public are expected to be there.
Well, because it's not closed, you know.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we
So
don't have a closed fence there.
No, no.
So you can come in. Obviously, we have to try and protect ourselves because you get members of the public that try to do harm to the police.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't like the police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But-
Anti-police. They try. We've had screws put by the tyres.
okay.
And things like that.
Yeah.
So that's why they were just checking
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure.
But then
you
obviously,
weren't
I'm
doing
sure
any
you've got
harm.
CCTV around the sign saying you
Yeah,
have
we
and
do.
that.
Yeah,
And obviously, I'm walking around, my face is uncovered. I'm not making any efforts to hide myself. I'm not trying to be covert.
No.
You know, otherwise I wouldn't have made myself apparent to the person in the window. You know, I would have.
Yeah.
You know, if I had nefarious intent with that information, I would have stood there and filmed it for as long as I could before I got noticed and not said anything. That would have been, you know, if I had nefarious intent with it.
Yeah, I can see
you
that.
know.
I think it's just, you know, you pointed out a thing. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm going to go speak to my inspector now.
Yeah, I
I'm
appreciate that.
I'm hoping that you're not going to like have any nefarious things about putting spikes
Okay,
or anything
like,
like that.
if I was, I'm on your body cameras. My face is quite clear. Like, I don't think it would be difficult.
But
for,
I'm just saying, you know what I
for you
mean?
to figure it out,
we're going to
yeah.
go back. We're going to leave you to it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I fully appreciate it. Like, again, I'm not the anti-police. I'm anti-police like that who don't want to follow policies and think they're above doing what they're supposed to do. But you've been fantastic, and
it's people's
you know.
experiences, isn't it?
Yeah,
Some people have
but
very
as
bad
constables, you
experiences.
should approach every situation independently, shouldn't you? Really.
It is hard because we're human beings. At the end
I
of the
know,
day.
I know, I get
And
that, but you're held to
you
a
know what I
much
mean?
higher standard because of the job role that you take
It
on. You
is,
know, you
it
take an
is.
oath to the crown of this country, and we expect you
100%,
to live
but you know what I mean?
live
It
your
can be hard
life to
when
that.
you've got members of the public
Yeah,
who want
yeah.
us, harm us, punch us every day.
Yeah,
you know.
sure, but you know,
You know.
but then we say as members of the public, we have police officers that want to do that to us, and it does happen. You can't deny that it does.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah, so we have the same
we
thing.
generalise, we
Yeah,
generalise.
yeah.
It's
Again,
our
but I will give
subconscious-
everybody their fair dues. Like I've given you, I've had a polite conversation with you, and
Yeah.
I've told you thank you for doing your job as you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
following your policies. And I will give everybody their fair dues, and that's
Yeah.
all we expect from the police as well. You know, we expect that two-way street. At the end of the day,
We do try to work at two-way street.
yeah,
I'll
the
give you
confidence
my
in policing in this
details. I
country is
would have liked
plummeting,
your
and we're trying to
details,
build. You know,
but-
we like to try and build the bridges rather than
Yeah.
tear them down. But we don't want people that. You know, if he's not willing to follow simple policies, how can we expect him to follow the ones that actually are way more serious? You know, it starts with the basic level, and that's what it's like your school uniform. If you can't be bothered to do your school uniform, how can you be or wear your uniform at work? They don't expect that. It's an indicator of you're not going to be bothered to do your job properly or learn properly, and that's what it's about. If you can't follow your basic policies, how on earth can we have the confidence in you to do your job when it really matters? And that's the kind of people that we don't want in our police forces, is people that, if they can't follow the simple stuff, how can we trust them to do anything more serious when they've got powers that can demolish people's lives, you know?
And support people.
Yeah.
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 No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know,
I
your powers
understand.
can do great
Okay,
things, but they can
okay.
also do very dangerous things, you know, and if we can't trust you to use them properly, that's scary.
Okay, dokie. Well, we're gonna. Like I said, I would have loved to have your first name.
Yeah, I know you
There's a
would.
B after your pink, I think, shirt or something.
Probably.
Like that.
Or my cologne, maybe. But yeah, no worries. Well, thank you for your time,
No
and I
problem at
appreciate
all.
your professionality.
Okie dokie then, thank you.
As the officers walk away, the auditor underscores just how needless the entire conflict was by simply reading the officer's collar number, QP16, directly from the badge displayed on his shoulder. In that moment, the full absurdity of the officer's refusal becomes impossible to ignore. All the tension, defensiveness, and conflict stemmed from an attempt to withhold information that was already plainly visible to anyone who looked. Instead of demonstrating professionalism, the officer revealed a mindset centered on asserting authority rather than meeting the basic standards of transparent policing. The auditor then states plainly that his formal complaint will focus solely on this officer's behavior, ensuring that accountability is directed exactly where it belongs. This ending highlights not only the officer's unnecessary resistance but also the importance of citizens standing firm when public servants fail to meet their obligations.